my life. Olive Branch was my life. For the 60 years of my marriage, this was the hub, and we moved around it. And so these are some of the stories of the jobs that I had. Mike and I held every job in this church. He was a chairman of the board, I was a chairman of the board. He was a treasurer, he was a secretary. I was a treasurer of the women's group. Every committee we served on. So we were kind of a fixture, like the front door or whatever. But I'm going to start in June of 51, I started to teach. Now the 50s were busy for me. I had Mary in 51, Paul in 53, Philip in 56, and Martha in 59.
Yeah.
My outfit for those years was maternity clothes most of the time. But here's how it was when I went to teach. I started in the kindergarten department with Edith Mayhem as our lead teacher. I can only tell you a few of the things that happened to me over those years. Sad, glad, interesting. I went from the kindergarten back to the pre-kindergarten. The 3, 4, and 5 if they weren't kindergarten, and they had to be potty trained. That was a problem sometimes. Anyway, my scripture today is what I taught to my children from Matthew 19, 13 to 15. Then little children were being brought to him in order that he might lay his hands on them and pray. The disciples spoke sternly to those who brought them. But Jesus said, "Let the little children come to me, and do not stop them, for it is to such as these the kingdom of heaven belongs." And he laid his hands on them, and they went on his way. This story I told over and over and over again, that my hopes that my children would understand that they were the prime, Jesus' favorite for the children, how much he loved them. And I told it so often that one time a little boy said, "We've heard that story before." And I said, "Good, you can tell it again." He got up, looked around, said, "Jesus loves all of us," and sat down. That was the Reader's Digest version. But I had some interesting times, and I'm going to share them with you. The children mirror their home life, so you'd be surprised how much I knew what went on in homes that all around. I always wondered how much the teachers that my children had knew about the homes at our house. We had a children's story the first of the month, and we took turns, and it was Mike's turn to tell the story. And Mike thought he could sing, and he always tried to sing. So that Sunday he sat here with all the little children around him, and next to him was a little girl with long black curls and a big haircut up here. And Mike started in with the song, "Jesus loves the little children, all the children of the world, red and yellow, brown and white." As soon as he said brown, that little black curlies went to black, Mr. Herbig, black. And he sang it again. "Jesus loves the little children, all the children of the world, red and yellow, black and white." That little girl's name was Elizabeth. Sometimes when I had a story to tell, I changed as the opportunity came to me. When we had a little girl came in, she said, "My shoes hurt." And I think Mother must have decided one more or so 2 Sundays, but she said, "My shoes hurt." I said, "Take them off, put them over by the door." So she did, and I turned around a few minutes later, and there were 10 pairs of shoes and 10 pairs of bare feet. So when we had our circle and our story, I preached on Jesus washing the feet. Who could miss an opportunity like that? And that's how my life went from there on. I had a little boy who didn't like to talk a lot, but his actions proved that he could hear what I was telling him. He was putting a train together like this, train fit. And I said, "Where are we going, Ben?" He said, "We're going to heaven." And I said, "Well, Who are we going to see when we get there? Jesus. Well, is he going to be glad to see us? He's going to say, welcome home. That was Ben Farley. And I thought, something's getting through there. Something's getting through. And so I went on. I had a mother come to the door and said, you yelled at Laura last Sunday and hurt her feelings. Oh, why did I yell at Laura last Sunday? Oh, Laura was leaning back on her chair, way back, and I was across the room. And before I could get there, Laura was going to be on her head. So I said, Laura, stop! Laura stopped. When I told her mother this, she said, keep yelling. I had a lot of sad times. I had a little boy come in one Sunday, and he was mad. He was mad. You could tell on his face, you could tell it the way he was. He knocked over the blocks. He kicked the trucks. So I got him, and I'm a great hugger, toucher with children. And I got him up and I said, you're sad and you're mad. And what's the matter? And that little face all screwed up and he said, my dad's been jailed again. He's been beating on Mom. Now what do you say? You can't say, oh, that's too bad. You try to think, for 2.5 hours I've got this little boy. What do I do? So I said to him, you know, I need a helper. He said, what do I have to do? I said, well, for once you can go help pick up those blocks you knocked over. You can help pick up the papers. You can help pass the trees, because I need a lot of help. He could do that. So for 2.5 hours, he picked up and he helped me. But I almost cried when he left the door, because I was sending him right back into what made him so mad before. And there wasn't a thing I could do to help him, except to make 2.5 hours on Sunday as good for him as possible. These are the kind of stories that hurt, because there's nothing you can do. And they're also too funny. I had a little boy say, Dad has to sit in the tub every night and soak his bore off. Well, you try keeping a straight face when Dad comes to pick up the kid. The temptation to say, how's your bore off? And I had a little girl who was stubborn. She'd make a mule look calm. Her name was Margaret. Her mother played the organ. And one Sunday, Margaret decided she was going to sit with Mother in the organ. And Dad decided she wasn't. And Margaret stiffened up those legs and she said, I'm sitting with Mother. And Dad said, no, you're not. And he was trying to bend the legs and sit her down. And she was stiffening them up. And I thought, somebody's going to have a broken leg before. So I said, Margaret, I need to rearrange the furniture in here. How do you suggest I put the kitchen set? She said, well, put it over there. How about the blocks? I'll put them back there. And I looked at her father and said, and Margaret rearranged the furniture. But I made myself a note, because before next Sunday, that furniture better be rearranged. Or I was going to have a mad Margaret. I also had a little boy that loved to play soccer. And every Sunday morning, I got a preview of a Saturday soccer games. And I was the goalie. His name was Craig, and was Darlene's grandson. And all these stories, they're all grown up now. And when I used to look down on them, I now have to look up. Wonderful stories. But the one I'm going to tell you about is the one that I really want you to understand this one, because these are 3, 4, and 5-year-olds. Had a little boy come to the door with his grandmother. This little boy had been in a terrible accident, and this part of his face, his eye drooped, his face melted like it had been melted down. It was red. It was scary. And the one little girl saw him, almost had hysterics. So I asked the mother to go in the hall. The grandmother I helped her to fill out the card. among the other 10 or 15 that were in the room, got them up around me, reached as many as I could, and I said, now, the story I've been teaching you all this time about how much Jesus loves the children. He loves them all, whether they're pretty or whether they're not, whether they're tall or short, whether they have curly hair or straight hair. And this little boy has been in a terrible accident. But there's a little boy inside, and he knows how he looks. And he needs somebody to take him and make him feel like he's a good little boy. Can you do that for me? This little boy needs all of us. Well, they thought a while. I said, you're going to be Jesus' helpers today, all of you. Yes, they could do it. And the little boy came in. He knew how he looked. He knew how people treated him. But when the little boy walked up and said, would you like to build blocks with me? He said, yes. And another little girl said, would you like to have a tea party? He said, yes. So for 2.5 hours, that little boy led the life of a regular, normal, 3 or 4-year-old boy. He didn't stay too many Sundays before the family moved, but I was so proud of those children because for those few hours, that little boy felt normal. No one stared at him. No one called attention to this little boy. I often wonder what happened to that little boy. I hope he had help and everyone else learned to accept him. But those children, for 2.5 hours, treated him like a normal little boy. And I was so proud of him. I can tell you stories and stories and stories. But I can tell you this, I was disciplined, I had a finger and a voice, and a chair. And if they broke the rules, the chair they sat, and we chatted until they understood. They gave me love, they gave me understanding, they gave me pink eye. They gave me inventago, they gave me bad colds, sore throats, and they even gave me shingles. I had a little boy that came in that was sick and wanted to sit on my lap all Sunday. He was coming down with chicken pox. I came down with shingles 3 weeks later. So we gave it to them. I gave to them love and understanding. They gave to me the same. It was my privilege to teach for 50 years. And I had a lot of 3 generations. I had Timothy, I had his children, I had his grandchildren. I had Phyllis's girls and Phyllis's granddaughters. I mean, I had Gary and a little boy. He was wiggly. And Ben. So I've been blessed to have it. And I look around and I see children that I had. Jennifer. I see Timothy. Amy. I had June's children. Grandchildren. It's a blessing. That's the reason that this old building holds so many wonderful memories for me. Then Cora and Carr and Alma Mary were our hospitality champions, and they finally got tired. And my mother and I were helpers, and they said, would you like the job? We said, okay. So it was my mother and I and Nina Ellis who took over the hospitality. Now, when you say hospitality, I want you to know some of the dinners that went on. The mother-daughter banquet, the father and son banquet, the youth banquets, the rehearsals for weddings, the funerals. We had a convention here, a national convention, and all the churches opened up to invite people to come for dinners. We had, this church was packed, and we had a dinner to serve that group of people. We had soup salad dinners. We had chicken and noodle dinners. We had bazaar dinners. We had the Thanksgiving dinner. We even had a dinner theater where we served dinner on Friday and Saturday, and there was a play on the stage. But after those 2 days of 2 complete meals, we said, don't do this again. And hospitality included shopping, bringing it in, planting them in, you know, looking at Rosie, she knows a little bit, preaching to the choir. But this olive branches, for some reason or other, we're truly gathered together, we eat. That seems to be our motto, and we do a lot of it. And over the years, my mother got too tired and Nina died, then I had two new helpers, Phyllis Wade and Evelyn Dietz. And they were good helpers. You know, when you do something to cook a meal and you have to tell somebody where everything is, it's not fun. And I used to say my idea of hell was to have two people help me in a meal that didn't know anything about the kitchen. But my two helpers were great. And when you have three people, if you must make a mistake, you can go, well, you know, the custodian came in 1972. We were asked to be the custodians. And we thought we knew the building, but you're surprised how many little places we didn't know was up here till we started being the custodian. The first thing we found out was that window behind us here is on a hinge and works out. And all it had was a wire with a light bulb. And John Carson and George McLeish decided we needed better light. So one day the electricians came in, opened up that window, propped the board underneath the lids there and said, clean it and we'll be back in 2 hours. Now that's a big window, and it's a heavy window. And it's old because it was in memory of a young man killed in World War I. So I looked at Mike and he looked at me and says, clean it. And I said, So he went to get the water and I went to get soapy water and a sponge. And very carefully we cleaned that window front and back. And that new light makes it so much prettier. But that was just the beginning of things that we ran into. The baptismal was another thing.
Sorry.
Mike got so he could tell by the weight of the minister and he was going to be baptized how much water to put in. Because the more people, the less water. Well, one time he decided he had Howard Bowers, and Howard's a big man, and he had a lady that was a pretty good sized lady, but she was nervous. So at the last minute, her sister needed to go in with her. Well, now that's an extra body that we hadn't counted on. And when they both got on the water began to run over the steps and down. And I never seen Howard baptize anybody so fast. Up and down, out of that baptistry before it flooded the entire place. We took care of the snow, the grass. And for years, Mike had roses all planted along the fence all over here. Until we had a hard freeze late in the spring and killed all the roses. Then we went to petunias and marigolds and whatever else we could plant. And he always said when he mowed the grass, he didn't dare wear long shorts because it stopped traffic. He had such good looking legs. We had to know where everything was, and we were supposed to know what they needed a whole day before they needed it, which was kind of hard to do. But in 22 years, we learned people, where they sat. And if we get a call on Sunday afternoon, I think I left my checkbook at church. Mike knew right where to go to look for that checkbook because that lady sat there every Sunday. And so you learn all that. We learned everything about the people we knew. And I used to love to come in on Monday morning to straighten up the sanctuary because there was still a fragrance, perfume, and aftershave in the air. And I felt so comfortable in here, just the Lord and me cleaning up the sanctuary. It was a special time for me. And communion. Now, do you know we used to have glass cups? Oh yeah, we had glass cups. And they had to be picked up, washed, dried, and put back in the trays. Well, we decided that that was a good job for Martha and Philip. So while we were closing up the church, Martha would collect all the little cups, and Philip would run the hot soapy water. Well, it seemed like they had several friends who had things to talk about. And instead of 2 down there doing the dishes, the cups and drying them, we had like 4 or 5. And then when they got through, their parents had gone off and left them. And there was 4 or 5 looking at me as like, well, let's go home. So on Sunday afternoon, I had several extra pair of feet. Gary, Tim Rowe, Mike Maskell. And I never knew how many, so whenever I fixed for dinner that day had to be plenty because I was going to have extra feet. But it was really a wonderful time because they played cards and they played games, so they stretched out on the floor and took a nap. And they had a 6 o'clock youth meeting. And it was a special time for me. In fact, Jenny, where did I keep the glasses?
I don't remember.
Well, Philip never liked milk, so if I kept it cold enough, he'd
Oh,
drink
at
it.
home. I'm thinking you're talking about these things. Yeah, they were in the refrigerator,
In
freezer.
the freezer,
Yeah,
right? I
yeah.
kept them in the freezer,
I thought
and you
these
know,
were-
he's gonna be 60 this year, and my glasses are still in the freezer.
Oh, I remember that.
It was a labor of love to take care of this church. It was a labor of love to see the floors sparkle. And those floors, we didn't have the handy mops and all the things. Mike laid a layer of stripper on the fellowship hall, and I with a little 2-hand would go around with the scrubber behind it, so one of you didn't all get electrocuted. And then he'd pick it up with water, pick it up with vinegar water, pick it up with clear water. After it dried, 2 coats of sealer, 2 coats of industrial wax. This was done 3 or 4 times a year, and it took a week. But it shined, oh, it shined, like my mother used to say, a pewter dollar in a mud hole. It shined. It made us proud to take care of this church. It was a way to thank God for being so good to us. Now we come to the weddings. And just after we started working, Orville Skeen had a heart attack. And Orville couldn't do all the running around. So Orville sat in his office till it was time for the wedding. And Mike and I did the running. Mike took care of the men, I took care of the women. And weddings and funerals bring out the best or the worst in people. And I've seen both. So here's a few of the stories. The weddings are beautiful, whether they were plain or whether they were decorated with tulle all around the top and the harp playing here or a violin there. They were beautiful because the bride and the groom are beautiful. But you know, after 20-some years of marriages, we could pretty well spot the ones we'd say, this will last 1 year, maybe 2. Beautiful dresses, simple dresses, dresses that Mom wore, that they wore, all the weddings. But we had a few that really stuck in my mind, and I'm going to share them with you. I had trouble with photographers. They always wanted one more picture. And I tried to get the bride to calm down for 15 minutes before the wedding. So I literally had to kick the photographer out of the dressing room because he just had to have one moment. And my idea was that I would get the girls lined up behind in the curtain there, and then I would sit the bride down and say, now, relax, take deep breaths, just for a few minutes. And Mike was taking care of the boys and the men. And his job was, when everything was in place, he'd stand at the back door, fold his hands and shake his head. And the organist, until he did that, kept playing whatever she was playing or he was playing. Until the signal was, we're ready, let's go. Well, we had a bride, and she had 6 bridesmaids, which was always trouble getting them all up on here. and she had her maid of honor was her sister, her younger sister. And we were all lined up, and the younger sister said, oh, I gotta go to the bathroom. I said, can you wait? No, I can't wait. Well, okay. Mike hadn't stuck his head in, we were ready. I said, go ahead. We seated the mothers, but she wasn't back yet. Mike looked in, and I said, all right, the maid of honor's downstairs. He went flying down the steps. Neither one of them came back. So I went down the steps to see what was the matter. Out of the ladies' room came Mike running. I thought, uh-oh. Went in, and the bright little maid of honor was going, she's gonna kill me, she's gonna kill me. And I thought, why? She had washed her hands, and the groom's ring was on her thumb. You know? And the ring bounced off. And right in front of our lavatory is a drain. It had rolled into the drain and was hanging over the hole like this. I grabbed a hanger, opened it up, pushed it to a crack to hold the ring. Mike came back with a screwdriver, took off the top, pulled it out, cleaned off the ring, put the top back on, and the girl said, she's going to kill me. I said, she won't know. We'll tell her we had a little trouble in the restroom and let it go with that. And then Mike got the signal the wedding was ready to go, and the wedding went on. I had a bride who wanted both mother and father, both fathers to marry her, and this was a problem because we had to say to the bride, is the mother and the second husband and the father and the second wife, are they coordinated enough? Are they friendly enough they can sit in this front pew? Or do we have to put them in separate pews? That got to be part of the questioning. But I never had a question about grandparents till one Sunday, one wedding, we had 3 or 4 pair of grandparents to sit in half from the groom's side. Well, Grandpa had gotten frisky in his old age and got rid of Grandma and had a new grandma. A younger grandma. So, unbeknownst to the groomsmen seated Grandpa and his new grandma right there. And then they seated the single grandma next, and she sat over against the aisle. Well, we had 2 more pair of grandparents to get in. And the groom said to me, Grandma won't move over. So I came trotting down the aisle, and I said, you have to move over. And she said, no, I don't. And I said, this is not your wedding. And yes, you do. So she moved over. 2 years later, another granddaughter got married, and she looked at me and she said, I know, move over. So the next wedding I'm going to tell you about was sad in a way. A young lady, 18, marrying a soldier, would move away. The youngest of the family, 4 boys and her, had them all lined up. And luckily there was about 6 bridesmaids. And I got ready to seek the mothers. And as the mother of the bride went out, she said, well, I hope you can do something with him. And I thought, So I went to the back, and Daddy was in the back corner with his back turned, wiping his eyes. And the little bride was talking to him, and he was going. And I walked back there, and the bride says, he says he won't give me away. So I said, you go get back in line. I told the girls, watch, you know how to go down the aisle, you know where to stand. And I happened to know this young man. Knew him since he was a boy. I knew he was upset. This was his baby, his only girl. I said to him, you know, this may be the last time she leans on you because she's going to have a new husband to lean on. Now, is she going to remember that she could lean on you, or is she going to remember that you stayed back in a corner and cried? He blew his nose, wiped his eyes, and down the aisle he went. It is had a girl who wanted 2 fathers to give her away. Well, that aisle's not very wide, and you get 2 men and a girl with a big billowy skirt, and they were like at rehearsal. She was like a wishbone. They were each one trying to get a part of it. And I also knew one of those fathers. So I said, fathers, in the back. And this one I knew was pretty stubborn. So I said to him, you're acting like jackasses. And I wanted to stop. This girl is not a wishbone, and you're not each one trying to get a piece of her. If you can't do it, she'll go down the aisle by herself. Well, she got down the aisle and she ended up in one piece without her arms being pulled out. But, oh, wedding. Funny weddings, sad weddings, weddings where the girl was so pregnant that we had to sew her into her wedding dress because she had gained that much weight. But all in all, I had a wonderful 22 years here as janitor and custodian. I thank you for putting up with me. Well, because I wasn't always very diplomatic. There were times when it took a little roughness to make me see things right, to do right. I loved it all. I love all of you. I thank God that I was able to spend this much time with all of you. And I think the only sad part is that when I look at all of you on the 1st of May, I may never see some of you again after that. That's my sad part. But I know we'll meet again somewhere, hopefully. And until then, this has been